Wagwan, wagwan. Hey, sorry for getting this out super late, but Unity was definitely giving me a run for my money, and the end result of that was me having a long battle with battle. I never say that battle. Having a long fight with my scripts communicating, specifically over our health and anything that would do damage within scripts. In this case, my enemy's bullet taking damage. For some reason, Unity was not accepting take damage, even though it was right there to the left on our player health, and on the opposite side, using the exact same words with our bullet. So I ended up having to rewrite both that script, the bullet script, the health script for the player, or the health script for the enemy, and a little bit about the combat system of the player. And when I rewrote them the exact same way I wrote them the first time, put them back in the game, realized it, and was like, oh dear, this isn't gonna work. And then, to my surprise, everything worked perfectly fine. So I spent a week having a fight with Unity, and Unity not listening to me, and I was in the right, and Unity was in the wrong. So take that, Unity. But, so that happened. I apologize. I don't know why it wasn't working that way. I literally sat down with my friend who's, she does cybersecurity. She's a coder by trade. And she took a peek at my script, and she was confused when she looked at it, because she was like, as I read it, it makes sense. I don't understand why Unity is giving you this error. And Unity is very fickle. When Unity gives you an error, like, nothing happens. You can't play a game. You can't test anything. You can't, like, I tried to delete the scripts off of objects, and Unity was like, no, this thing still exists. Fix it. Like it's my mother or something. But yeah, so that happened. So Mother Unity definitely, Mother Unity definitely was on my ass. Outside of that, I was trying to get the player UI to work. It was super hard and confusing. I tried to make the UI exist on more than one scene, and that just wasn't happening, but eventually I got it to work. And all I did was this: make a script, player UI. I deleted the old one that I had, made a new one, and just made a script, don't destroy this game object on load. And I attached it to the HUD, and the HUD worked, and it accepted it, and I'll show that to you now. Also, just so that you know, I made a start screen. It's not that great. I definitely have missed the artistic aspect of making a game. I haven't been able to do any artwork for this thing for 2 weeks because of my struggle with coding in Unity, and I miss it so much. But there was a time when I was able to make the start screen and play around with buttons. I think I was taking a break after last week, or the week before last week, and before everything went to hell, and I made this, and it was good. I'll be revisiting it, of course. I'm not sure how I want the start screen to look. I'm definitely thinking of pulling from something, maybe a mix of the things that I like from Final Fantasy. I always like their start screens, the artwork for that. I love Konami and all the artwork that they have for that. So Zone of the Enders and Metal Gear Solid will definitely be playing a very large part into what I do for my start screen and cinematics and things like that. And I actually have a Ashley Woods Art of Metal Gear Solid book that I definitely glance at a lot and study. So expect to see my more amateur attempts at replicating both that and the Final Fantasy esque art style. But anyway, MechaVania, of course, a working title. I just chose it because that's the that's the genre I want to add to the gaming world, a MechaVania, Metroidvania S type game. So of course you know that. So with that said, I got 3 buttons. they glow and stuff when you highlight, or they highlight themselves when I scroll over them, which is really great. That of course will change, but I just wanted, you know, something to look kind of fancy. But as we start to witness something amazing. I think I start taking damage immediately before we even get to see. Yep. But if you look, our player UI exists. I'm taking damage, but if you also look, the bullet is doing that thing that's not supposed to do, and that's annoying. And again, our enemy still disappears on the 4th strike before the strike even truly happens, so I still gotta go back to that. But I did get a fix, which was this. Look, we go into the next room and our life is still the same. But I ran into another problem when we go back into this room. Our health is at max again, which makes no sense. So unfortunately, I have to look into that next. Aside from that, we have a very pleasant issue, which I think I might be able to fix. I think there's just some things I need to delete in order to make it work. But as we go in here, I can't move. So I got 2 mistakes that I gotta look into. Hopefully they don't take me hopefully they don't take me a whole entire week to figure out, because there's actually some things that I want to do before my Saturday, and I'm gonna show you what that is in a moment. Actually, I want to fix this before we begin. Yeah, get your butt back down there. Alright. I don't, that doesn't need to be that big. Actually, hold on. Let me stop this and take a look at scene 3 real quick. Okay, yeah, I'm not even sure what I need to change. Maybe I need to take out the player character. Is he in scene 2? He's in scene 2. Yeah, I'm not sure what I need to fix. As far as that's concerned, I'm not sure at all. Oh, yeah, take scaling back then. Yeah, I'm not sure. Alright, I'll look into that later. But that's what I have added so far. That's what I fixed. And sadly, it feels like I've been doing the same thing for like 2 weeks, and I'm super ashamed of it. I had a really long week and a long weekend with my friend trying to help me, and we just couldn't figure it out until I deleted the scripts, put the scripts back in, and then they're exactly the same and they work perfectly fine. So thank you, Unity, for wasting my whole entire week. Outside of that though, we have something that my friend put me on, and diagrams.net. It's associated, well, I have it tethered to my Google Drive, and this beautiful thing helped me map out the things that I want to achieve with my game and the scripts in the game. And well, I stumbled up, well, my friend introduced me to this when we were having a conversation about parenting scripts, and I thought that's what I needed to do. I even attempted to make parenting scripts, and they didn't work, and they made me frustrated because I don't fully understand it, and I didn't really want her to, you know, hold my hand through the whole thing. I want her to be as less involved as possible, because again, she does this for a living, so you know, she has her own plethora of headaches to run into. So I want to do this solo to the best of my ability. But she put me on to this, and this actually did make me feel good, because I love organization, and this allowed me to kind of take a peek at everything that I would want in the game. So the first thing that I addressed was just these 4 categories that would fall underneath my player UI and what our player UI needs to represent as you actively play the game. So of course there would be health, energy, a leveling system so you can see what level you're at, and a currency so you can see how much money that you've collected in the game. And we'll get to why there's money in the game in a second. You probably already know, but I'm gonna go over it anyway. So of course, with our health, the things that I wanted to achieve with our health really fell into 2 conversations: a max health and a current health. The max health, of course, would only have one thing it needed to worry about, and that's increasing its amount based off of when you level up. So as you level up, your max health will increase, and that's it. The max health just needs to establish itself, and it only changes once you level up. Current health, on the other hand, as you know, I've been dealing with making our health take damage for pretty much 2 weeks, and reflecting itself on the UI. But also, I wanted it to address a few other things, and those were in some Castlevania games, mainly the GBA and 3DS, not 3DS, but the DS ones. Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, Aria of Sorrow, Aria of Despair. Those 4 had a leveling system and abilities that you can use. I'm not sure about Circle of the Moon or Harmony of Dissonance, but Aria of Sorrow, Aria of Despair, I want to say Portrait of Ruin, and Order of Ecclesia all had a system, ability system in it, where when you use an ability, you could lose life. But you would gain, strength or intelligence, or like something would be buffed as you depleted your life. They also had items like that, but for this game's sake, it would more so be around abilities. Things like, if you're familiar with Marvel vs. Capcom 2 with Iron Man, his proton cannon ultimate attack. He pulls out this giant cannon, puts it on his shoulder, he fires it, a giant beam comes out, looks beautiful when people use it in game. It's really cool. Hits people when it comes out, and then the beam shows up, which is beautiful. I love it. I'm definitely gonna draw inspirations from that. But if our character were able to do something like that, I would want him to take some damage. I want the player to have to make decisions based off of strong abilities like that, and so that's something that I wanted to have in this game, to take away from the player's health, ability use. Of course, we have regular attack damage, physical attacks, beam attacks, whatever, but also status attacks, being things like in Metroid they had it where if you didn't have, I think it's I'm probably misquoting it because I haven't played Metroid in a very, very long time in comparison to Castlevania, but I think the Varia suit allowed you to be in hot rooms. I'm not sure. I think that's the one. So I want that to be, the player to run into situations like that where they're actively taking damage in areas where they shouldn't be, or in conditions, environments where they shouldn't be just yet. And also status attacks like, if whatever a mech's version of being poisoned is, or which I would assume would be some sort of like EMP magnet or some crap like that. But various things like that. So I want to have a status related damage that can happen to our player character. As far as recovery, very basic stuff. As a mecha, having repair systems, that would be like an ability that you can use. You can also pick up repair kits, which would heal you, and those would be the items. And then of course leveling up, like in any game. One of my favorite things, of course, was to level up, and everything is replenished, and you get to see, the new cap where your life is. Always made me happy, so I want that in this game as well. And I also think that's really good aspect as far as speedrunners, being able to track, how much health they may need and things like that. I would love to make this game very I would like to make this game definitely a part of the speedrunning community. Absolutely. Much like its predecessors, its alumni, which would be, Castlevania, Metroid, Bloodstain, Hollow Knight, things like that. All of those games have speedrunners, and that community is just beautiful. I love seeing them kind of take advantage of what's been made, and I would love for them to break the hell out of my game once I build it up. I would love to see that. Our energy script will definitely fall into the same realm of needs as the health script. I think the only things that would be different energy-wise would be that energy could naturally recover itself, so you don't need to use an ability, of course, and you don't need to pick up items. However, it would recover slower than if you were to pick up an item or level up. Of course, if you level up, immediately it goes back to max and increases a little bit. But yeah, the natural recovery, of course, would just be like, recovering over time very slowly in comparison to using or, running into an item that would replenish your energy. As far as energy depletion, basic stuff, ability use, of course, would deplete your energy. Before I go further, as far as energy items go, something that I really love in Castlevania games was Castlevania has a ring in it that you can put on your player in the DS versions, and I think Aria of Sorrow. There's a ring called the Magnus ring, and that ring was pretty much the best ring to increase natural recovery, and that ring would make you recover health if you got to level 100 like I did out all of them, because I love those games. If you're at level 100, it feels like the ring is recovering more energy than you can spend. So it's like your energy bar barely moves, if doesn't move at all, depending on what moves you're using. So I definitely want that in this game to kind of reward people who get to level 100 or 99, really. So yeah. But anyway, back to ability use. Ability use, of course, would deplete your energy. And I also wanted something where, you know, if you get hit by a certain type of status attack or environment, that your energy would deplete, and that would put you in weird situations. I even want that in boss fights. So I wanted to make it where, you know, the player has to be on their toes in certain areas or in certain fights and situations. Health script, very simplistic. Only 2 conversations to have: what your max EXP is and what your current EXP is. With that, as you gain experience, you eventually hit the max and you gain a level, and then it resets, and it keeps doing that little song and dance. Reset, max, level up, reset, gain, max, level up, reset, gain. And then eventually, of course, you'd have to hit your cap, which would be, you know, level 99 or something, and that would be reflected across the board that you reached that. Current experience would no longer be calculated. It would only show you know, the amount of experience that it took you to reach the level cap. And then, of course, it'll show, you know, experience till next level would be 0. So I have to figure out how to implement that as I learn how to do the leveling script. And then, of course, currency. So currency, of course, everyone knows, you know, how bartering works in games. You get money for doing quests, or, you know, random things that you picked up as you defeated enemies along the way, environment, objects, stuff like that, barrels and crap like that. Of course, in this game, it'll probably be like trucks, tanks, various, you know, currency caches, stuff like that you would run into. I always liked how Castlevania had, you know, random gems and stuff across the castle of Dracula. So with this game, of course, I would like you to run into, you know, maybe like gold deposits, crystal deposits, things like that, and you can collect those. And of course, you know, defeating enemies, they'll drop money. Defeat a boss, it'll drop pieces that you can sell, you know, things like that. So I'll have something implemented where the character can sell things for money, to purchase upgrades, purchase new weapons, things like that. And for the most part, that's everything that I ran into or was able to complete. I'm pretty ashamed that Unity is kicking my butt as far as the coding goes. I really miss being able to do the artistic side of everything, and I'm trying my hardest to get back to it. This week, I would I'll be focusing on completing all the health script needs, with the exception of ability specific things. So that won't be in there. I'll think about status related stuff, but that won't go in until I can create another enemy that will do status damage, or an object or some obstacle that'll do status damage. So that'll come a little bit later. But for the most part, it will be rounding off the health script for where we're at now, and then reflecting the energy script, and then connecting them both to a leveling system and having the level showcase on the player UI. So far, those are going to be the main ones that I tried to do before Friday. That way I can record a video, upload it on Saturday, and I can take a break finally, and hopefully be able to get back to doing art stuff. So hang in there with me. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. I'm trying really, really hard. This is a lot to understand and take in, and I definitely feel like I've wasted 2 weeks of time So I'm gonna be busting my ass once more to catch up, fix those 2 mistakes and these additions that I want to add to the game. 3 mistakes, because our bullet drop off is happening again with our enemy. But yeah, so I'll try to fix those 3 things, figure them out, round off health script, add energy script, add leveling script, and hopefully I can show that all to you on Friday. Your Friday, my Saturday. So thank you, and struggling to disappear again, but thank you. I will see you guys Friday. Peace out.